So you're thinking about getting a nipple piercing, and you have a female anatomy. Well, here's everything you need to know before getting it done. Coming up next in Consultations by a Piercer, episode number 40. For those that are new to the channel, welcome to the Body Piercing and Tattooing channel. Hope you're finding the videos helpful, useful, but you may not know who I am. My name is DaVo. I am a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I own and operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, located right here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So what we're talking about today is the good old-fashioned horizontal female nipple piercings. Average healing time on these is going to be anywhere from 6 months to a year, during which time I'm going to suggest cleaning twice daily using a sterile saline. My personal favorite is Neomed's Piercing Aftercare because of it comes out in a fine mist. There are other options, even like the wound wash version that comes out in a squirt gun like fashion. The difference between how you use the two is with the mist, you just mist both sides, let it stay in contact, blot off any excess. If it comes out in like a really strong stream, like a squirt gun, then take a sterile piece of gauze sponge, or you can possibly use a clean paper towel, fold it over, saturate it, and then lay it against the area and do a cold compress for about 5 minutes, and then pat dry in both cases. Now, if you can't find the Neomed's Piercing Aftercare or wound wash, a good option or alternative, there's a number of them on the market. The main things you want to look for is that it's in a pressurized can, that it says sterile on the packaging. When you flip it over and look at the ingredients, it just says sodium chloride and purified, usually purified water, and no preservatives or anything else. If it has anything else in it, it is not what you want. The other thing I suggest doing is once a day is at the end of your shower, pull your hair and everything out of the way, stick your breasts out, and just let the water flow over the area for about 30 seconds. What we're doing with the saline rinses and with the rinsing in the shower is we're helping to remove the hardened, crusty discharge that hardens and collects on the jewelry. And it will do this throughout the healing period. It is a normal thing. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. And there'll be periods of time, especially with nipples, where you don't have any of it for a little while, and then all of a sudden it starts up again. It's just part of the healing process. The main reason we want to remove it is to eliminate the possibility of when the jewelry moves, that it agitates the piercing and leads to problems. If you have an obsessive amount of it, or it doesn't seem like it wants to come off, I really suggest going to see your piercer and have them clean the piercings for you. Also to take a look at it, because there might be something else going on. Now let's talk about all the things you can't do. Cross-contamination prevention. Common sense stuff. Wash your hands before you handle it. The only time you really need to have any contact with the piercings is when you're checking the tightness of the ends. No oral contact or exchange of bodily fluids on, near, around the piercing. Keep your environment clean. Your clothing, bedding, towels, anything that may come in contact with this piercing needs to be cleaned on a regular basis. Do not swim. I don't care what you've heard on the internet. This is going to be an open wound during the healing process. It's especially true in that first 3 to 4 months. And anytime you can submerge your whole body in a body of water and move around, it's going to be filled to the brim with what we like to refer to as microorganisms. You have an open wound, microorganisms, they get in there, infection. So it's best to stay out of the water until the piercings are completely healed. Keep pets away from the area. Don't let them sleep in the bed, especially under the covers, until the piercing is healed. Now let's talk about trauma, abuse, and clothing. Do not sleep on the piercings. Make sure you're sleeping on your back or your sides. Try to eliminate sleeping on your stomach. It's probably going to lead to issues. Some of the tricks I learned a long time ago, because I used to be a stomach sleeper, is either putting a pillow between your legs or gripping onto a body pillow will usually keep you from flipping over onto the piercings. Do not spin, rotate, or move the jewelry. This is not a fidget spinner. This is not a toy. Do not mess with them. Obsessively moving the jewelry is just going to increase the likelihood of issues. Avoid contact with the piercing altogether. I always kind of describe it right after getting them done, especially for that first couple weeks. They're kind of like curb fillers. They're just out there, and you don't really begin to realize how often your nipples come in contact with the environment around you and other people when you're giving a hug or what have you. Your body's kind of training you to keep things away from it. Obsessively having pressure or abuse to the piercings is going to lead to problems. So listen to your body. If it hurts to do something, stop doing it. Now, clothing. Probably the most common thing people think is that wearing no bra is going to be more comfortable than wearing a bra. The reality is, depending on your anatomy and body type, the sway and movement of the breast will be uncomfortable for that first couple weeks. So we suggest wearing something that has even support, things like sports bras, men's A-shirts, tank tops. Experiment and see what works best for you, because we all come in different sizes and shapes. And what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the next person. Now, and I generally suggest do wear a bra while you're sleeping for that first couple weeks also, just to eliminate constantly waking you up every time you move. Now let's move on to placement and angle. The piercing is done at the base of the nipple, slightly above it. You don't want it into the areola, that pigment area that's around the nipple. Basically because there's a lot more milk ducts back there, and you could cause a lot more issues, especially when it comes to breastfeeding, if it goes through it. We want to just go through that spongy tissue of the nipple. And it should be horizontal. There, you can do them vertically or at angles if you wish, but it should look perfectly straight when you're standing at attention. What I mean by that is standing with your arms together, or arms by your side, feet together. It should look like they're straight and they match. Now, the piercing will need to be marked when the nipple is erect, so that they know that they are definitely just getting nipple tissue and nothing else. This can be a little uncomfortable for some people. To be honest with you, I always disinfect the area before we do it, and usually we use providine iodine or something that's cold. So usually we don't have to do much work in this direction, but don't be alarmed if your piercer kind of manipulates the area for a little while to make sure that they're erect, because they need to mark them so that they're sure they're not going into any other tissue other than the nipple. Now let's talk about jewelry. Basically, these should only be done with straight standard barbells, titanium, internally threaded, or threadless. You should not use circular jewelry at all for the initial piercing. I know for years we did them that way and they healed out fine, but it also tended to be, they healed out, but there was also a lot of problems. They were very difficult to heal out with rings. The barbells heal much quicker with less problems. They should also be slightly oversized. And the reason why is to allow for inflammation that can occur in that first couple weeks of healing. And they should be downsized to a shorter post, roughly about anywhere from usually about 4 to 8 weeks. The longer you wait, the less uncomfortable it can be, and probably the better. But if it seems like they get caught a lot more because they're longer, or it's putting pressure on one side when you wear a bra, then you may want to change right there at that 4-week point to a shorter post. Circular jewelry. Now, if you do plan on wearing circular jewelry, I really suggest that you wait a couple years for that piercing to really season and mature. As piercings get older, once they've gone through the healing process, the next phase is thickening up that tissue and also kind of separating away from the jewelry. The reason why we want this is we're going from straight to curved, and that can cause issues. The other thing is that curved jewelry should be extremely larger than the amount of tissue you're actually going through. Usually I suggest adding 1/4 inch to the overall length if you're putting in a ring, just basically because we want that area that's going to be inside the nipple to be as flat as possible. If you put in jewelry that's too small, what'll generally happen is they will stick straight out like serving platters, or they will start to migrate downward to account for this tightness. So it needs to be a larger ring than what is really necessary just to allow for that extra space. And if you see any problems when you switch to rings, switch back to the barbells as soon as possible. And one final thing on jewelry, downsizing should be done by a professional who has the proper tools to do it with. We never leave the piercing empty. I usually use a threaded guide pin to thread on, take off the end, thread on the guide pin, push the old jewelry out, unscrew it from the guide pin, put the new jewelry on, and then push it back through. Then close it. That way, the piercing is never left empty, and you have a decreased risk of closure. Now, let's talk about pain in the piercing experience. This varies greatly from person to person. For most people, I've heard everything from a 2 to a 6. The other thing is usually the second piercing will hurt slightly more than the first. Your body kind of goes through this. Your nervous system is kind of designed that if you increasingly do something over and over again, it continues to increase the warning that it's telling you that, no, stop doing this. This could be harmful. The other thing is a breathing exercise is helpful during this. Generally, what we'll suggest is once you're set up and ready to do it, take a deep breath. We'll tell you to take a deep breath, hold it, and then exhale. So breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Smell the cake, blow out the candles. And that really does help a little bit, or help quite a bit with the anxiety and everything that's going on, and usually makes the experience a little bit better. Now, it can be done freehand, but I prefer forceps. And the reason why is because it compresses and holds the tissue in place. It makes it a little easier to make sure that your angle's correct and that it's straight. So then once the forceps are on there, the needle is pushed in and through. Then the forceps are removed. The jewelry with a guide pin attached to it will be pushed through. Then the guide pin is taken off. Jewelry is closed. Apply a little bit of saline to make it feel good for a minute and stop any bleeding that occurs, and we're done. These don't usually bleed a great deal if they're done correctly. Sometimes they can a little bit, and sometimes they'll bleed off and on for a day or two. It's not uncommon immediately afterwards to have some aching and throbbing pain that usually lasts a few minutes. Then it's going to be tender to the touch anytime you touch it, and certain movement, like I mentioned earlier, will be uncomfortable. Anatomy. This is something that's very important with nipple piercings. The nipple needs to be developed. When erect, it should protrude from the body so that it's easy to pierce just the nipple tissue. I'll probably be doing one maybe in about a month or so, 3 weeks to a month. That's going to cover inverted nipples. There's also what I like to call bashful nipples. They are not quite as big or quite as developed, and they take a little bit more work to get out. They are pierceable, but you have to understand the larger or the smaller the nipple is and the more closer it is and less developed, the more likely the piercing can reject. We will do it as best we can. If your nipples have not developed at all, then this can't be done. Mainly what we're concerned about is we want enough tissue there to support the jewelry without issue, but not have to go into that area or behind the nipple. What to consider? Generally, this is 2 piercings. They can be done in stages. If you're one of those people that is frightened by the idea of doing 2 of them at once, you can do 1, give it a little time to settle down, and then do the second one. There's no reason why you have to do them both at once. Like I mentioned earlier, these can be like little curb fillers. Everything they touch sends a signal to you that, don't touch me, don't touch me. So avoid contact as much as possible. Also, of course, have the proper clothing online available to you beforehand. Kind of think, basically what I generally suggest doing is put it on in front of the mirror at home and kind of jump or do some jumping jacks or something and notice the amount of movement you have and the least amount, try a couple different type methods or bras and find out what works best for your body. Once you've done that, make sure you wear one to the piercing. It's not going to feel great to have that thing, loose and et cetera. I know everybody thinks that it's going to hurt, but it's actually going to be more comfortable with a bra. Downsizing. I've already mentioned this, but I generally suggest downsizing at least within 2 to 3 months to a shorter post. Mainly because leaving that longer one in there can increase the likelihood of the jewelry shifting and moving and agitating and also getting caught on things. So if we've gotten past the swelling point, it's a good idea to switch to that shorter barbell and make your life easier. The next thing is, are you going on vacation? Are you involved in any special events or anything, or you're planning on going swimming? Healing a piercing on vacation can be a pain for a couple different reasons. First off, you can't control how clean the environment is, so there's no way to make sure those sheets are clean in most cases. This might be an environment that has pathogens that you have never been exposed to, so that increases your likelihood of infection because your immunity has not been built up. The other problem is that most people want to swim when they're on vacation, and you can't. It's just best to either wait until after your vacation is over or postpone the vacation until the piercing is healed. Now, maybe you've had this piercing or these piercings. Tell us a little bit about your experience. How was it healing them out? And do that in the comments. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I hope to see you for your body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.